Coming up on the dirty side of the track this week. It's only taken 5 years, but Rob might have made a good point.
That's actually a really, really positive way of looking at that, Rob. That's actually, I never really thought of it from that angle. Yeah, no, that's actually a fair point, maybe.
And in another 5-year first, Brian finally understands this sport.
But this is still racing. And so, in my mind, the point of it is to go as fast as you can around the track. Hey now, welcome to the Dirty Side of the Track, America's leading Formula One podcast. I'm Brian, that's Rob. We have one of my favorite episodes of the summer break and the off-season when we're joined by the third part of the team. Welcome, Pitlane Paul.
Hey guys, how are you? Happy end of summer. That's what it feels like. Feels like a depression of having to go back to work. So I have to like a normal person actually look like I got a job now. So yeah, no, all good. It's good to be back on. It's been a good few weeks. So yeah, it's nice to just have a little bit of time off and a bit of time away and in reset. So yep, buzzing to get going, buzzing to do this. So let's get into it.
Yeah, we will. We will hit news and social, of which I'm going to categorize this week under slim pickings. We'll go through the video vault. Me and Brian are going to disagree on one of them, I already know. And then we have the Pitlane Paul edition of Cadillac Corner, because all we're really going to do is talk to him about the season so far and what he sees. And then we get a race preview, because we're going to Zandvoort next week. Right, news and social. First off, your friend Adam, or our friend Adam, Brian, called us out on missing an important part of the Chicago shenanigans last week. We talked about the sim racing. We didn't talk about when we got back to your house and went into the basement and started YouTubing.
That was so dodgy.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
You could have introduced that a little better.
Well, you know. Anyway, after my son Reese wiped the floor with us in sim racing, he then proceeded to wipe the floor with us in the can you name the F1 circuit from above kind of Google Maps type of challenge. And it started off, it would zoom in miles away and start zooming in until we could see the track, by which time Reese, being a pilot, had already seen the nearest airport and gone, yeah, that's here, that's there, that's there. We basically didn't get to play.
The only thing is there were two of them, and one of them, it was the track first and pulled back, and then we had a chance. We had a fighting chance on those. But the minute we hit an airport, yeah, we were screwed.
Yep. And then the best thing, that my proudest moment, Paul, was where we then kind of went through various incarnations of this game. Then it went to, can you guess the American city from above? I'm like, well, my geography is really naff. But Reese, the Englishman in the room, wiped the floor with the Americans in the room, where he named, I think, every city before they did.
Well, I mean, there was.
I'm quite intrigued actually, because I'm not casting any doubt on Reese's talent here, but how impressive actually is that to just be able to look at an airport from above and know what it is? Because airports kind of famously are just strips of road. So I'm giving him a lot of credit there. I have an argument quite often about latte and cappuccino, because regardless if the coffee's in the bottom and then milk, or if you put milk in and then coffee, by the time you've stirred it, it's the same drink. And would be my kind of view on airports. Surely every airport is the same from above. I don't really understand how he's managed that. But hey, that's why he's a pilot. And I basically make drinks.
Now, I want to know how this one's going to tie in, because I think teams could have a bit of fun with it. But we have. Disney had a partnership recently, because I think in Canada we saw Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, or whatever it was, part of the Academy, right? Yep. Well, they are extending the franchise, and Cars, including Lightning McQueen, will make an appearance at the Italian Grand Prix after F1 and Disney announced a significant deal extension. Look at Paul, he loves this. Yeah, he's gone. So it's been confirmed that the collaboration has been extended through to 2028, and they've now incorporated the popular Cars franchise into the partnership. Now, if they don't get Luigi and Guido changing the tyres of a Ferrari, they've completely missed a massive opportunity here.
So going back, I think it was Cars 2 when that got premiered, and they did the launch. Someone's going to correct me on this if I'm wrong, but they definitely did a launch of Cars at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. So we had all of the garages, and a bit like APX or whatever they were called, we had this other random garage with cars in. I think it was about 2008. It was such a long time ago. Now, I get a lot of grief for my dentist's failings. I get so there's a particular character in Cars, and ironically, I met the original Tow Mater on Route 66 because that's where they found Tow Mater. But from that very race, I was gifted that. And for anyone who's not watching on YouTube, it is Tow Mater with his really handsome teeth. So what I'm saying is, this is absolute disaster for me if that's true. Because as soon as they get a whiff of Cars, the whole paddock's going to be like, yeah. So that kind of sucks. But anyway, yeah, there we go.
I did not see that coming. When you made a face and walked away, I thought it was just the tie-up.
No, it was. It was absolute depression. So yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
you don't. I mean, it's yeah. So that is actually from Disney. Actually, I could beat this. Disney sent me lots of stuff. They even sent me the Tow Mater Crocs to wear as well. So anyway, enough self-shaming.
The man, the myth, the
I
legend.
didn't. Yeah, I did not expect that to happen when I copied and pasted this little news story. So that's diamond. It's gold, Jerry. Gold.
Gold, Jerry.
Yeah.
We don't really hit a lot of personal lives of drivers and things here unless it's Lance crashing into trees on his bike. But it was announced that George and his longtime girlfriend got engaged, Carmen, and I believe Alex too, to his girlfriend Lily, who's a professional golfer. So I think those two announced engagements, but I don't know about it. So we don't like we say we don't really get into the personal lives of folks.
Yeah, I know George did. I sent him a message congratulating him. I didn't know anything about Alex, so yeah, it's interesting. I'll get that confirmed before I go bounding up to him. And
yeah, definitely don't take our word for it. Don't take our word for it. Don't take our word.
I just like the way Brian started saying it because at one weird time I thought there was like a three-way engagement. He said George has got engaged to his longtime girlfriend Carmen and Alex.
well,
What?
They get on. It's
I mean,
2026.
Yeah, the thruples
Now,
are alive and well.
Paul is the only one really even getting close to doing a service to this one, rocking his moustache. But on this day in 1992, Nigel Mansell secured his world title in the Hungarian Grand Prix. And at the time, it was the record for the most races left in a season when he won it. So, yeah, special shout out to the moustache. I can't actually grow one. So
yeah, I was going to say that's yeah. How many races were left then? Because we used to finish the season.
It was five, I think. It was five, and it was only a 16-race calendar back then.
Yeah,
so
I guess we used to do 16-race calendars. So I was thinking of finish in October. So yeah, I was going to say it must be fourth, and that's the longest. That's the most races
at
left.
The time. Somebody's done it since. I want to say either Vettel or Schumacher might have done it. Both of them might have done it since, but at the time it was the most races left in a season.
Exactly. When people bound on about stats nowadays, and Max has won the most amount of races in a race season. He's beat it by 5 races, and you're like, yeah, but there's 10 more races than there were back in the day. So it's always, these stats are always really good. But yeah, you gotta remember the historical value.
Someone will bring up points, and once again, points changed. So like that is not equal apples to apples.
Yeah, exactly that.
And then last two, just as we look forward to the next race coming up, then Red Bull, I know everyone will be really excited about this. Red Bull have announced special race suits to say goodbye to Zandvoort. Max has got one with lots of orange in it, and he's also got a special helmet. No laughing, Paul. And then my last little piece here was that no matter what happens next race in Zandvoort, it means the race after, as we go to Monza, Kimi Antonelli will go to Monza as the first Italian to be leading the title fight since 1953.
Now that is a stat. That is a great stat.
Wow. Yeah, that is actually that's pretty wild. That is actually pretty wild.
That is crazy.
I'm sad. I'll just touch on Zandvoort. I'm quite sad about Zandvoort. I won't lie. It's a really good place to go. The fans are super. It's such an amazing atmosphere. We'll miss it. You know me. I've often spoke about racing circuits. I like racing circuits over little street circuits. So even though it hasn't got a massive history in F1, especially in recent years, yeah, it'll be sad not to be going back there. It's a really good fun place to be. So
I I've talked about my appreciation of turn 3, that banked lefty. I just would love to have gone one time to Zandvoort, by the beach, by the sea.
We'll hit this. We'll hit this
I
in the
know,
preview,
but
Brian.
I'm
It's
bummed
been
it's
a
going off
phoenix
the
from the
calendar.
flames. Well,
I
it's
know.
been a phoenix from the flames once before. There's nothing to say
I
it won't
know.
come back.
Paul, this
True.
is the first time we've had you on since the passing of your friend Biscuit. You gave us an update at one point, but we'd love to just kind of give you an opportunity to share any thoughts.
Yeah, well, yeah, you don't. I gotta say, people use the word legend a lot when they talk about people. This guy really was, and in anyone who worked in F1, I think he's like, I've been in it a long time. He was in it way longer than me. He was in it. I think someone was saying Dunlop were a tire supplier when he was in it. I could be wrong, but he's always done tires, and as a tire man growing up from, coming into sports, a relatively young kid doing tires, and to anyone in that sport who was coming into it, he was like the godfather of tires was Biscuit. There's two of them. There's Biscuit and Jim, Jim Duffy. They're big legends. Jim's heartbroken. I spoke to Jim a few times. I sat with him in Budapest before. Obviously, Biscuit sadly passed away, and he's going to be missed massively by the whole of F1. It's going to be a much weaker place because whereas everyone always credits the drivers and think these guys are the heroes, they're not. It's people like Biscuit are the ones who make the sport go round. So, just from my side, absolute hero of mine, absolute legend. I still can't process it. But yeah, we it's going to be a weird paddock in Amsterdam, but he was so loved. It's going to be a weird atmosphere, but I don't know. He was so well loved. People, I can't imagine anyone would have a bad word to say about him. So, absolute hero of mine, legend. I'm so sad about it.
Yeah, our condolences to you and all of his friends and family. It's just sounds terrible. Sounds like he was a great guy.
Oh, unreal.
I don't know how to transition from that to videos, but we're just going to go and do it. So here we go. Opening the video vault. All right, I get a chance to stand on my soapbox one more time about the grid games. We made Arvin and Liam cut foods perfectly in half. F1 grid games, F1 channel, 10 minutes. Okay, so I do enjoy these. I enjoy seeing a little bit of the driver's personality come through, whatever they may be doing. But these games are a complete farce. The cheating had been off the scale before, and then they use scores, but the scores don't really reflect anything. This time they replaced the first game with a completely different game. So there were 3 sections to the game. The first section was cutting things in half, and then the rest was as though they were still doing the same spin the wheel, name things, and do charades or charades. And so for me, I love this, but we got to stop calling it a game, or they got to not give a trophy this year because it's just all over the place. Okay, the Driver Puzzle Challenge, Grill the Grid, Episode 3, F1 channel, 29 glorious minutes. No. The long-form content of these is... Rob shaking his head. The long-form content of these has been good for the first couple, and I enjoyed the third. I might be alone. They had questions, described a driver. You put the name of the driver in the box, but some people can be in multiple boxes, and you had to kind of figure that out. I liked it. I thought it was fun. Rob, you have a different opinion here?
I enjoyed it for about 7 minutes, and then I fast-forwarded like about 20 just to see what the result was, because talk about beating a dead horse. It's like... The ones feel a bit more fast-paced where they're kind of like doing this. This was just them going, who loves coffee? Oh, Valtteri loves coffee, sticker there. Who did this? Oh, sticker there. And they just went around every single driver almost evaluating exactly the same thing. I'm like, this is a big 29 minutes. We didn't need this.
That's fair. That is fair. And I'm saying that not just because I see your point, but in retrospect, I did fall asleep during it the first time, and I had to come back the next day and finish it. So maybe that should have been my answer.
So I'll give you a bit of an insight into these. So
please, I was going to ask, are you in the background when this is recorded?
Yeah. So this was Bahrain this year. We've doing Bahrain tests. So what F1 will do, they'll do their content capture day. So the opening sequence, when all the drivers are like doing this, I don't know what the hell that was, like jazz hands, but yeah, when they're like doing their little poses for the opening sequence, they do all the filming for that, and they do so much different filming, and then during this process, they'll start doing all of these little games. So I see some of them, and obviously I'm waiting for them to drop on socials. And some of them, you're just like, that is going to be awful. Because, like, the drivers trying to be enthusiastic, but I won't lie, most of the drivers just want to get in. They've got like 20 minutes to do this shoot. They want to get in and get out. So, yeah, I like the concept of them. They are good fun, but it's surprising how many of the drivers are just like, nah, which you could probably see when they're doing these things. I do watch them. I'll tell you very quickly, there is a good, I don't know if it's TikTok or Instagram. I don't know who makes it, so this is a terrible thing. You might have seen it, you might not. It's basically the cockpit of an F1 car, but everything's blanked out and it's guess the track. And you just got to guess the track from the gearing and the steering around it. And like, I normally skip through those things because God, work in F1, I don't want to see all that. God, just for you people. I found myself really enjoying it. Like, I watch it, I'm like, right, I've got to get this one right. It's really good. So if you see any of those, they're really good fun because you're like, but it can't be that circuit because, yeah, they're really good fun. So, yeah, try and find those.
I will.
Tell you what, you would never have guessed Silverstone from watching our steering wheels going around the sim racing because
oh my God.
most of the time mine was recovering from gravel. You'd be like, I don't remember this corner.
Yeah. And if you did a sim racing, sorry, this is really off at a tangent. Turn one at Silverstone, then you've got that little left-hander before you brake for the right-hander. Yeah, like on the PlayStation, I'm always off, and I can't, for some reason, I always struggle on that corner. I always get way too much curb, and then I end up getting me brake. Anyway, so moving on.
Yeah, the cops caught me out every time. But anyway, 21 times F1 cars disintegrated on the F1 channel, 16 minutes. Okay, I like these. Basically, it's just 21 clips of cars falling apart for various reasons. And there are some famous ones we've seen a million times over. When, was it Buemi? I can't remember. The wheels came off at the same time at the front. And, there's a variety of these. But whenever they do these multi-year, across-the-year kind of clips, I enjoy it. So if you've got 16 minutes and you want to see cars falling apart, check it out. Other than that,
and
I'm
if you want to, and if you want to see the two wheels falling off the car in a much better setting, then watch our official movie trailer that the three of us did, because that featured in there. We should add that in the vault this week as well.
We'll put it in, paste it in.
I will. I'll add it.
All right. We will close this up because we have a special Cadillac Corner Pitlane Paul edition. And at this point, I don't know what music to play.
Proper music. Don't.
Yeah.
Come on. No, what?
Whoa.
Cadillac Corner. Whoa. What's going on? You literally have one job on the buttons here.
No. I'm gonna insert.
Cadillac Corner. It's Cadillac Corner. It's Cadillac Corner.
Oh, this is brilliant.
Hey now.
Okay, I'm done.
God, we were so drunk when we recorded that. That was after the keg, wasn't it? We did that one.
No, that one was 23.
Oh, there's one after the keg. When
we finish this, I'll play the keg one on the way out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, my theme tune should have been heard of it. Yeah, some of the Cadillac Corner tracks have just been so good. Like, yeah, I love them. Like, some of the jingles. Who was it? The jingles. Oh, God, Andy made one. It was, I was in Spa listening to it. I know that, so it wouldn't have been a Spa weekend. There's one of them really, really.
Was it the Poddington Peas one?
Yes, it was. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
All good.
So, the idea of this extended Cadillac Corner, well, we're going to hit the big news, almost the only news over the summer break so far, and then also just kind of chat with Paul about season so far and Caddy's debut season and what he sees for the rest of it. So let's hit the first one. So the big one was that they removed Graham Loudon as team principal this week, like yesterday, the day before, replacing with former Alpine chief. Oh, what's this? Marcin Budkowski.
Yeah,
Marcin Budkowski. There we go. That's as close as I'm getting. Said sudden departure of his exit had not been the subject, which had been the subject of recent speculation, came as a surprise. Dan Tower said the plan had always been in place for him to eventually hand the baton over to someone else for the next stage of their development, but admitted that the timing had come sooner than expected. Oof. So when did you guys find out about this, Paul? If you can give us the when it dropped for you lot?
Well, for me, it was at the time when it flashed up on Sky Sports News in the UK. So we did get an email about it on comms because it's the weird one because it's the summer shutdown. We're not really monitoring emails, so like most people wouldn't have seen it. It would have just been like including um, yeah. I think everyone know it was a bit of a shock. I won't lie. So yeah, it'll be interesting in Holland. Let's put it like that. It's an interesting change. Yeah.
Do you know,
Yeah,
was it always kind of planned from a Dan Towers makes it sound like there was the get the team set up and build the first car and get to a point where it becomes more about, eking out performance. And he makes it sound like in his mind, he'd always planned something like this from Graham to somebody else. Are you able to share? Is that with your knowledge of it too? Or was this driven by something else? Or what can you share with us?
Uh, Without having the facts and without, I've not spoke to many people about it. Graham's a good friend. So, it, obviously I was sad for him. As for the actual transition, no, we wouldn't have, that's nothing that would be down at my level. The team have decided that's the direction that they're going to go in. Yeah, it's what I will say is, I've seen a few. Of course, you look on social media, and a lot of people, have got different views on the situation. I would just say from my side that the job that Graham had done to get the team from where they were last April, which is pretty much nothing, to where we are now, is nothing short of outstanding. Now, it's in terms of performance, yeah, okay. The last few races have naturally been disappointing. The car, we're having the same issues on the car, so I kind of see reasons all over the place, but I don't want to touch too much on the reasons because I don't know, and it's wrong for me to say. What I will say is that people need to give Graham Loudon a hell of a lot more, respect for the job he done, getting that team up and running, up and down that paddock. There's not anyone in that paddock who does not think that it's a remarkable job that everyone in Cadillac. It's not just Graham's. Everyone in Cadillac have done. So, yeah, naturally sad to have lost him. But look, let's face it. Until we get to Holland, I'm sure we'll hear more about it there. So, I can't comment too much on the whys, wheres, and hows and X, Y, Zs of it all. So I don't know. Like I said, all I will say to close that one really is Graham just did a world class job to get that team where they were, and he deserves every credit he gets for that. And I think some people probably don't see the scale of the job that he's done up till now. And it's a results based business. We know that. Yeah, it's where we are.
But it is amazing.
You often see that. Oh,
go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say, it's not just F1. There is, I think, even across the business world, there is a different skill set of being able to stand something up from nothing. Like when people start a business and they get it all set up, and kind of getting something off the ground and up and running is one skill. And then quite often those businesses get sold or someone takes it over, because then it's a different skill maybe to eke out the performance and the ongoing kind of day-to-day, I was going to say performance again, which is really bad because that'd be the same word twice in a sentence. But you get the sentiment, right? Maybe it can make sense from that perspective that he's done an absolutely phenomenal job and maybe got them to a point where they thought they could do this way earlier than they ever thought they were going to be able to, because he's done such a good job.
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at that, actually. That's actually a really, really positive way of looking at that, Rob. That's actually, I never really thought of it from that angle. Yeah, no, that's actually a fair point. Maybe, if this transition was planned, which it clearly sounds like it was, maybe Graham's done that good of job where they now think, well, we've got to make this change now. Yeah, like I said, it's interesting. I'm looking forward to getting out to Holland and figuring out where we are. But that's a really, really strong take on that, actually, to be fair.
That's going in the clip at the beginning.
Yeah, whatever. I would echo Rob's point, though, in terms of...
oh, sure you would, yeah.
Getting the car... maybe he did such a good job and they got so far forward. Anyway, in all seriousness, though, Paul, you told us when this was announced that Cadillac would be a team, and then Valtteri went there. You're like, getting a car on track is a huge deal, and having a car there at the beginning, less than a year after you announced it. It's not like you took over a team and rebranded it. And so, starting, as you say, forks and knives all the way to tires and teams, pit teams, that's huge. And so when the season started and you guys were ahead of Aston Martin and hanging out with, the Williams and other cars, I think that's a huge kudos to the whole team, but led by Graham to get there. So I didn't want to go without saying that, because as we watched it from the outside, it's pretty freaking impressive.
Mm. Yeah, and like I said, a lot of people from the outside, not you guys, because you're a bit more clued up, obviously. I'm not saying anyone else is, that sounds awful. But when I say it's a results-based business, of course, people look at the results. You've got a driver with a huge fan base in Checo. Checo's back in F1, and, if the results aren't there, the pressure's there. I do get it. I do understand it. But, yeah, as you were just talking about the video with hearts falling off cars, and like I've always said, that first year with BAR, which to my knowledge are the last team to really come in and set up as a brand new team. Oh, there were bits falling off that car every single weekend, so they were probably in their videos quite a lot. But and that's it. We finished races. We were lucky not to get a point in Monaco. People should, Graham's name deserves a lot of respect on this project, and it's interesting where we go. Like we said, if the team's moving forward and we're heading in the right direction, and Martin's going to come in and do a great job, then it's that's only ever going to be positive. That's the business. Yeah, you're right. It's harsh. It's a really harsh world.
Yeah. So it's funny you mentioned that, because you are, well, I don't know that you're the only, but you've got to be one of the very few people that have been through this twice, of like a brand new team. Because like you said, you were in there at BAR, right? So you saw what a brand new team was like on the grid back then, and now you're seeing it again. What kind of differences, like a Cadillac doing better, kind of just what's it like the second go around for you of kind of being involved in a brand new team again?
Yeah, I'll give you that. But the problem was with BAR, you also got to consider, I was 10 years old being forced to work against my will when I was there. I had no concept of what what it took to run an F1 team. I'd gone from a Vauxhall garage, which bizarrely then was a GM car group. So yeah, back to base for me. But yeah, I'd gone from like a Vauxhall garage, and I never ever wanted to be a mechanic. I genuinely don't get excited by cars at all. I don't get it. So to go to this racing team, I obviously loved F1, but I had no idea back at BAR of what it was. Also with that, I also joined in 99. They were setting up in 97, 98. From memory, I think they were out testing. Well, no, they were definitely out testing. I know they were. They were out testing in 98. Back then, you could do that. You got to think with Cadillac, they couldn't really go. You can't go testing. There's no way. They literally, the first time that they, in effect, ran a car was that shakedown at Silverstone at the start of the year. So it's probably even more impressive on that side. Again, the scale of F1, the hospitality building we've got for Europe is probably one of the best in the paddock, and it was built in no time. The race trucks are fantastic. There's so much that actually goes into it. It's not just putting a car on track; it's everything. So it still blows my mind that they've done that job. So look, we keep saying results-based business, of course, and it does suck that our car catches fire, and and it's an issue which we absolutely have to get on top of, and they absolutely have to sort out. Aston Martin have taken a massive step forward, as you'd expect they would, but I think, it's probably hard. It's hard for people who don't understand to see it from the outside in, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. It's a huge job, and the trouble is when you see a team like Williams, like Aston Martin, develop that a little bit further, people are like, well, why can't you guys do that? It's really not easy. Again, it's testament to how much amazing work that people have done so far up to this point.
Agreed. So you spoke about Checo and his big fan base as we kind of went through this. There was speculation that at points that Checo would sign with another team for next year. We believe, and I don't know what you can confirm or not, we think Valtteri has a 2-year deal. And so from the outside world, we think he's, a bit locked in for 27, but we didn't know about Checo. And the question was, would he go somewhere else? There was Williams rumors. And then Dan Taurus was asked about this too. He's driven very well, certainly has pushed quite hard. I'm confident Checo is going to remain with Cadillac, and we're not distracted by the Williams rumors for a second. Fascinating. How do you read into any of the driver situation at Cadillac? And then we're going to launch into the rest of silly season after that to get your thoughts.
Look, it's a team you want to keep hold of Valtteri. We definitely want to stay there. Checo's the same. Excellent driver. So, of course, from a team perspective, we want to stay there. In terms of, and this is not by any means, I'm not taking you down a different road here, but like, if another team comes in that can offer a competitive car, it doesn't matter. Both drivers get, not towards the end of their careers as such, but you get what I'm saying. If you look at the generation, if someone comes along and offers you a contract for a much better car that's got a chance to be competitive, your head would have to turn. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but I think common sense would tell you that. Surely, if you're working jobs, if another company came along who was in a better position and offered you better everything, you'd be silly to not do that. I could say no from our side. We're loving life at Cadillac. We're loving life with the GM brands from our side. We love the project. We love everything that's going about it. So we're just super excited to see what next year brings at the moment. So from our side, I don't know of any rumours from Valtteri. On Checo, there's always going to be interest, but I don't think there's anything substantial. And like you said, it's silly season. When there's not a lot of news about, people like to
make it
people
up.
People like to just try and create something and start conversations going. It happens every year. But
so what I'm hearing you say, very loud and clear, Valtteri to Ferrari confirmed. No, not at all. That was
so. The funny thing is that because you told us this one time that you came on about when Valtteri kind of ended up losing his seat over at artist formerly known as Sauber. It was Carlos Sainz and his inability to make a decision or go somewhere. Like Sainz was the kind of the domino effect that kind of caused all of that, right? I think you remember telling us that. And it's quite funny right now is that Carlos Sainz seems to be the cork in the bottle for this year's silly season, because depending on which side of the rumor mill you read, he's either trying to extend his contract with Williams or he's about to leave and go somewhere else. And then that's what's had this knock-on effect of, well, who's going to Williams? Well, Checo's looking at Williams. And it's like, oh my God, why does Carlos Sainz always seem to be at the epicenter of silly season?
It's, again, in terms of a racing driver, you're hold out for the best contract. I mean, if you look with Carlos, I think the Red Bull seat came along. So, would it be something he was just holding on to the Red Bull seat? When you got, and it's testament to Carlos, by the way, that teams want him. If you've got a driver of his stature wants to come and drive your team, in terms of Williams, you were like, okay, we'll delay. Carlos is like, I don't need to rush. I'll wait and see what comes my way. So drivers hold, a lot of power. And but it's Carlos's tactic to get a better contract somewhere. Fair play. It's a money game. Your life is short in Formula One, and you got to get in and get everything you can out of it. So you got to make the decision that's right for him, right for his future. It's frustrating when you're on the back end of it, like we were, but you can't blame them. It's But I don't know the Williams one. It's an interesting position there. And I'm not throwing anything around here, but there's all the rumors we've said with Max to Mercedes. Do Williams then look at George? Him going back there, or I've often said that George would be a great fit for Aston Martin, but it only works if Alonso or Stroll decide they're not going to race. Otherwise, there's no seat there. So, it's going to be an interesting end to the year to figure out where people move, and it's that usual thing. What they should do is do what Lewis did. What was it, last year or the year before? And then just say February, I'm joining Ferrari.
Next year.
Easy. Yeah. Okay. All right, well, off we go then.
I think it would be great, and great in a terrible way. Like, how insufferable would George be if he was at Aston Martin? Would he buy himself a DB5 and just drive around in a tuxedo all the time and pretend he's James Bond? I could see him just going to town with that. And Carlos has requested that we
Stop inventing. Stop inventing.
Yeah, we should actually do. It'd be a good thing to do before the driver market gets out of control. We can get all of us lot and some of the listeners to do a prediction of the 2027 grid, and then whoever gets the most points takes $100,000 from Brian's mortgage or house or whatever we can get ready.
I think that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
So, can we close Cadillac Corner and just have a broader conversation with Paul at this point, Rob? Does that sound?
Well, this is going to be the evolution of this is Cadillac Corner featuring Pitlane Paul.
All right,
we can't close the feature until
I
we finish
play the
talking to
damn
Paul.
26 Hey Nows, but I'll wait.
You're so excitable with your trigger finger over the sounds, aren't you? Look at you.
Totally.
Right, Paul. So you kind of already touched on Australia beginning of the season and being there at the beginning. Now, the first two races didn't exactly go Valtteri as well. I think both of them were DNFs, mechanical issues, I think, on both of them. Australia was like, just checked it, lap 16 with some...
Yeah, Australia was. I'm trying. Where did we go
What
after
was the second
Australia?
race? Yeah.
China. And we...
I just quickly looked, and I think it was another DNF. This a little bit later in the race. So this time, I think
I can't
I
remember.
might have messed that up. You never know. I might have messed it up. Maybe I was.
No.
looking at,
I don't think you have. I think we did. We did retire. I'm just trying to think about that race. Sounds really bad. I can't remember it.
Oh no. Maybe it's a Rob didn't scroll down far enough and forgot that it was a sprint race, and it was the sprint that I think that it looked like Valtteri went out in. Sprint classification, retired, power loss. But if I actually scroll all the way down to the race, then that would have been a much better thing to have done. And Valtteri came in 13th, plus one lap down.
Ah, there you go.
Because there was a whole bunch of DNS. We had the double DNS for McLaren. We had
yes.
Bortoletto didn't get that. Yeah, all flame.
Yeah.
So Australia, obviously big hype. No, let's start Australia. What is that like in the garage? Because you've had some of the, like you say, the shakedown, blah blah blah. Here we are, first race of the season, first practice session. Is everyone kind of got like a backside going?
Oh God, honestly, it was the team. Well, they were exhausted, so I'm not going to bully the team. But it was like watching a load of kids on a junior F1 garage playing at play school at times. Like it was like there's so many little mistakes that they were making. And it's nothing serious. It was just comical stuff. But like running around, you haven't got this. You need to do this. You need to do that. To actually get that car out into the grid, it was actually quite comical because there's the first practice. It's just a new team, and as much as you practice doing stuff, it was just complete, like you said, nerves. It was just, everyone's like, oh, here we go, we're actually doing this, and it went really well. I can remember the DNF. Yeah, it was on the last corner, wasn't it? And it was really gutting. And Checo finished, which I thought was, again, what, and I think I said this on the video, what an achievement. It was unbelievable to get a car to the end. So yeah, it was just a mad weekend. There's so many people there from GM as well. It was like, it was really good. It's such a beautiful moment to actually get out, get to a race. See, I just said how prepared the team were. Like, everything worked. We got the car out there. We got the car to the grid. We did everything we meant to do, and the car left and done the race. Our side X amount of laps, but we still done the race. It was fantastic. Yeah, it was good. I'm trying to think back to Australia as much as I can. It was quite a weirdly emotional thing as well to get one car to the finish. It was quite beautiful.
Yeah, well, then you went one step better in China because both cars came home. Like I say, Valtteri in 13th, Checo in 15th. That's got to have been buzzing as well after that. So, like, second race ever in Formula One and both cars come home.
Yeah, and again, I think we just spoke when we were just talking before about the achievement of getting cars to the end of a Grand Prix. That's hard. The stresses those cars go through. We had no real parts. We had no bits for the car. It was trying to bolt things on that could make it work, and you know, and they got cars for you know. It's again, it's a remarkable achievement. It's I think it was just saying on the China race, McLaren double DNF. They didn't even start, didn't they? I think from
Yeah,
memory. Yeah,
correct.
but so if you look at, but you look at, we finished 13th, and there are a whole host of retirees. You know, these are teams that have been around for decades. You know, so for Cadillac to get to the end of the race, wow, like yeah, super impressive.
And you doubled down, followed that up in Japan. Both cars to the end in Japan as well. So I think there was, I can't remember the exact stat, Brian, but there was something like you got the most double car, like whatever this is, like race 3 in the season. Like Cadillac were almost like the joint record for getting both cars to the end of those races, like 2 out of 3, because McLaren hadn't started one. You know, we'd had retirements from other teams, so it was like pretty decent start, I would say. There was not. We were really worried, me and Brian, at the beginning of the season. We're like, oh, are they going to be like way at the back, having to go and kind of ask for permission to race because they're not just past 107%, they're like 170% of kind of like.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did feel like that quite a lot before the season started, and like you know, you go in testing. There's testing in Bahrain, and yeah, when you say that, I never really thought about it back before. And actually, no, when you say it like that and where we were, it's even more of an achievement, actually. I think it's actually bizarre how impressive that is for the first 3 races. Get a car. And we have a double DNFs, I know, but how many double DNF? Well, we're going to get there. I'm sure we'll go through the races, but
we will, yeah, because you followed it up again in Miami with another 2 to the finishing line. It was okay. It was 16th and 18th. Sergio 16th, Valtteri 18th. But again, it's like I think for this, it was way more than we thought you were going to do, to be honest. And it was just like, I was so happy we'd come up with the idea of Cadillac Corner because I was like, if you really had been a complete bust, it might have been a feature that got dropped pretty quickly.
Yeah, I can imagine it wouldn't go well when it starts going wrong. Yeah.
Oh, man. Sorry, I thought you were going to say something, Brian. No, you just...
No, I was just seeing if you were going to do more race recaps, but I'm waiting to get to the part where everything catches fire.
Yeah,
well, we're gonna get that. I was just gonna say that it wasn't a double
you
finish.
In Canada.
There we go, Canada. So yeah, Checo was out, but Valtteri brought it home as well. So it was okay.
But, Checo had the suspension issue. Yeah, that's right. This is kind of the start of our issues we're seeing now, actually. Just so. So yeah, it gets pretty messy from this point, doesn't it? I think.
Well, it's a dumb question, right? So we talk about that. Checo's suspension failed as he was kind of coming into the pit area on his way on the back straight there. The question I have is you guys then had the upgrades that you brought, or some initial upgrades, and Monaco later we saw brake fires. And then, of course, as it gets warmer into the summer, we see more and more issues with heat, it seems like, or brakes, however you want to figure out what happens to them. Are the upgrades causing some of these, or is it the temperature of the track, the type of track? Is it heavier braking? Like, I'm not sure how we would look at it from the outside, but it does feel like there's some challenge with the brakes.
Yeah, so I can actually temperature ones quite easily, but I will just say on the upgrades, something which, again, I'm going to speak about the testament of the achievement that Cadillac have done here. We don't have wind tunnels. We don't have a wind tunnel. You know, I believe we use the one in Germany, but whereas like teams have access to their own wind tunnel, we don't. So when we're doing upgrades, it's and again, it goes back to what I always said about historical data. Teams will have data on tracks from before. We don't have that. We put an upgrade on the car. It's no secret that these upgrades gone on. We're starting to have issues. That's part of development. That's how you learn. I always say, if a kid goes out and rides a bike and falls off, he's not going to make the same mistake again. That's the job of the team now, to learn what they've done. What all these other teams have done, if they've made this mistake many years ago. So now they know the form development. So again, they've got wind tunnels, they can do a better job. In terms of, then you're saying in terms of temperature. So we've got a situation now where things get a little bit toasty on the front end. We know that.
A little bit.
So a little bit, yeah. So you're saying about corners. The other problem is something which is going to sound really easy when I tell you, but a lot of people say, well, we're not having this issue in practice. We're not having this issue in qualifying. We're not having this, why is it only having the issue in the race after like 5-6 laps? That's really easy and it's really obvious. Like in practice and in qualifying, you're not following 21, excuse my language, hot ass cars around the track for lap after lap after lap. And the heat, you have to imagine the heat that's being generated from the exhaust of all of those cars that you're driving. So you're cooling on your brakes, on everything. All of your cooling is basically sucking in ridiculously hot air. So the reason we're not having that situation in practice is because in practice you might get behind a car. That's not 21 cars. You might get behind 2 or 3 cars. So the heat metrics that you're experiencing you can't replicate it until you get on the racetrack, until you get on a racetrack, until you get in the race condition. So it's really hard to almost be able to fix that issue. I would say, I'm sure they're working on it. I'm sure there probably is a way. There's probably aerodynamicists around the world now smacking their head against the wall, going like, "What are you talking about?" But I'm just talking about from what I know, and where the only way I would say you could probably replicate that is to try and generate that kind of airflow across the car. And the only way you can probably do that is wind tunnels. And if you don't have the wind tunnel use, you probably can't do it. So it's really hard. Of course, heavy braking tracks are only ever going to make the situation worse. Budapest, needless to say, is heavy on the brakes. Where else have we set on fire? Probably easier to say where have we not set on fire.
I was going to say that we were just touching on there. You went Monaco, Barcelona, Austria, where Valtteri was out in all 3 with overheating brake-related issues, and Sergio was out in 2 out of 3 of those with the same thing. So those were 3 in a row there.
Monaco makes a bit of sense. Barcelona is quite keen on brakes, I guess, but you want to go to a track that's really. So where are we up to?
Austria was hot. That was
Austria is so aggressive. Yeah, it's so aggressive on the brakes because with Austria, turn 1 is slamming the brakes. Turn 2 is a class as turn 2, turn right-handed top of the hill. I'll call it turn 2. Yeah, that's ridiculous on the brakes. You don't drop downhill to turn 3, which is probably turn 8 by the way they name corners nowadays. That's slamming the brakes on. And then you get a bit of a clean run, but you've got to bear in mind it's only let's say, what is it, 4.7k, I think, Austria?
Oh, it's tiny, that one, isn't it?
By the time you've done those 3 corners, you're probably just over 2/3 of the way through the track, potentially. So your cool down isn't really brilliant then on the rest of that. So Austria makes sense, Monaco makes sense, Barcelona. Yeah, anywhere where we need to brake is a problem. So, yeah, boo to braking. Silverstone. Have we got Silverstone yet?
Silverstone was next, where you redeemed yourself. We got a double finish in Silverstone.
Exactly, because Silver's only not so aggressive on the brakes, so you can allow more air and you can allow more cooling in. So even though I'm contradicting myself because you're still following cars, obviously you're not generating your own brake temperature as well. So yeah, it's a long way around the
Spa.
on fire.
Valtteri finished at Spa. Checo had suspension issues, so it wasn't brakes. And then where did we end up? Was it Hungary? Was the last one before? For the break, wasn't it? And Hungary was Sergio suspension again. Valtteri brakes again. It's kind of like you're only retiring for 2 reasons, and today it's brakes and suspension.
I think Valtteri's brakes. Go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
No. Come on.
I was going to say, I think this is the one when we gave Valtteri big kudos because he had to beach it against the wall in the pit lane. And then the shot that wasn't shown on TV, but you saw later, if you went back, was Valtteri with the fire extinguisher himself putting the brakes fire out because he's
so excited by that.
Fire overalls.
He was so excited by that. He's sort of like, you get back. Honestly, you don't understand how much it smells when your car's on fire. So he gets back, all of his kit is just huge and stinks. So the first thing is, right, get out of that gear. We'll leave it outside, and then we'll sit down and watch the rest of the race. And he couldn't wait to get his helmet on. Did you see me put the fire out? Like, yeah. No, I didn't. But wait, he goes, no, you got to watch it. We've got to find out. Okay. Then he's like sat there trying to go through X or whatever it's called. And like, oh, here we go. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm quite disappointed you retired. He's super excited about a fire out, but no,
funny.
again with that, yeah, heavy braking. The suspension, a lot of the times we have the suspension issue now. It's basically it's all related to the same issue. It's all the same components. We're obviously not getting enough cooling, so therefore it's heating up suspension. It's all related. So when they say suspension issues, 9 out of 10 it's probably all of the sensors that we have are just saying we're sky high on temperature. We don't want a repeat of Canada, so we have to stop the car. So it's it's definitely a fault that needs fixing. Let's wait and see. Luckily, Zandvoort's not really aggressive on the braking is Budapest. So yeah, it genuinely isn't. By the way, I'm not just saying it genuinely isn't. It should be a little bit. Actually, the weather forecast looks bang average for next week. Just so you know. So yeah, even better.
And you get the ocean spray carrying the sand, which will, sand in brakes is probably a really good thing, I imagine.
Well, you could put fire out with sand.
I was about to say the same thing. You can actually.
I don't want to cast doubt on our performance, but yeah, having a bucket around us.
Paul, when you look at the broader season for storylines, is there anything that jumps out at you? We've kind of gone through the first half for Caddy. What about the first half for the whole grid? Or did you see a Kimi?
No, I was going to say you cannot go away from what Kim is doing this season.
Yeah.
What I was a little bit on the fence when he came in last year. I was like, is it a bit too much for this kid? And kind of proved me wrong a lot through last year. I think I said it, but the way he's come into this year, I mean, George on the other end, your heart's got to bleed for him. But I mean, Kim is just. It's just at this different level. It's bizarre. And then I'm sorry, guys. I remember so many times last year me saying to you guys, Judge Lewis on this season, And again, Kimi and Lewis for me have just been the two standouts, and it's been incredible. I would beat on Aston Martin, but I'm not going to because obviously they made a decent step forward last week. So last week that sounds really bad. A few weeks back. Yeah, it feels like last week still.
Plus new engine this week too, right? Isn't it? I think they had all the aero upgrades and car and chassis upgrades, and now it's the engine. So we'll see what happens there.
Anyone who thought Aston Martin would stay in that position, Adrian Newey's still the same genius as he was. So I've no issue with their performance. You kind of expect it. Williams slightly amazed that they've gone that far backwards. Goes back to what you said about Carlos. I'm pretty sure their camp will be equally as concerned by that one. Apart from that, it's good to get to see some of the rookies. Mr. Lindblad, actually, the England Argentina World Cup game. I don't know if we said we were in Belgium. We were in our campsite and he came over to watch football with us. And the first time I'd really met him and spoke to him. He's a really, really, really good kid. He's got a really amazing personality, really, really good. So I'm happy to see him do well. Some of the rookies do well. I think it's a really interesting season so far. How many different race winners we had?
Five, I think it is. Yeah. Yep, 5.
That's quite. Where you stand on these new rules? Where are you two guys with the rules? So I still don't know. I still don't know.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. I don't know, but I am happy that we seem to have been mentioning batteries less and less more recently. But as the battery talk has gone away and the yo-yoing has gone away, we might have started seeing less overtaking. So it's kind of like, you got to be careful what you wish for. It's like, we don't want these damn batteries. Oh, but they did give us more spicy overtaking at the beginning of the year. So I'm not sure. I think I'm with you. I don't know yet. I'm enjoying the season though.
I think, it's all. Sorry, Sam, go on.
No, I was going to say, I don't know either. I would sort of echo Rob's point. However, philosophically, I struggle with 50% from the battery. And even if they go 40, 60 next year or whatever, it's not Formula E. And I guess I don't want to sound like the old guy yelling, "Get off my lawn," but I love the fact that Formula One is the pinnacle of innovation, and we should be. Yes, we want to take things from F1 and put them in your road car one day, and yes, a good idea to have road cars with hybrid technology. But this is still racing, and so in my mind, the point of it is to go as fast as you can around the track and out innovate the people around you. And I don't feel like the battery, have 50% from the battery, is that. And so I would love to see more of the ice, more of the power, bring back the V8s. If we don't even want to stop there, go back to the V10s or 12s, and less from the battery. For me, philosophically, that's what I'd love to see. But I agree with Rob's point and your point. I don't know. It's not been abysmal, but and less about battery is good, but it also less about on-track battles that we've seen the last couple races. So
I was going to say, because I know like the last few reviews, and I always say my reviews can sometimes be tinged with a touch of our own disappointments and things. You probably hear that on them, and I know I've said that before. I can't hide from that, but I have said that the races haven't been very good. Whereas in the start of the year, I think they were actually quite good.
yeah,
Um, and okay, so let's angle this another way. How much of this do you think is teams have just got on top of this battery thing now, and all of a sudden it's becoming back to like the way that I almost managed DRS or whatever. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I think you hopefully you're going to get my gist.
yeah.
Our drivers just learning what each driver's going to do. Our drivers just learning to do. Whereas at the start of the year, no one had a clue. So it was like, oh, okay, I'll overtake. Oh, I'll overtake. I'll overtake. Now it's just sort of like, well, they can't get. It's almost come a stalemate. No, I think that's a better way of wording it. It's almost come a stalemate with people racing. So I agree. Start of the year, we had lots of yo-yo in. It was exciting. Now we just seem to be getting cars just following each other around and things like that.
In order too. A lot of the Noah's Ark where you see team by team, in a row. And so I think some of that as well. I'm hopeful after the break. It's the first year of the regs. Teams will figure it out and keep developing. I'm optimistic we get a little closer to each other via development. So we'll see more drivers battling other teams versus each other and less Noah's Ark and maybe a little more shakeup. I'm not saying you're going to, all of a sudden, it won't just be Ferrari and Mercedes and McLaren and Red Bull at the top. But I think hopefully we'll see more in the midfield battling each other, and maybe Racing Bulls is clear. But then the next, 6 teams I'd love to see battling each other instead of just, again, 2 by 2 by 2. So that's my hope. But I don't know, Rob, what about you?
I just love the fact that the 2 by 2 by 2 just seems to annoy you so much. No, I'm joking. Yeah. I know, I agree. I think, look, the fact that we've had 5 winners across whatever it is, 3 or 4 teams, I just think is fantastic, because I was worried at the beginning it was going to be a Mercedes snooze fest and it was just George versus Kimi for the entire season. And then Ferrari seemed to have woken up and worked out how to give a decent representation themselves. Max doesn't go away. So I think if that can carry on going, I don't wish any harm to Kimi, but if he could maybe DNF or something in Zandvoort and Lewis could win and we could really have those two, the rookie versus the master. I mean, that is Vader against Skywalker, right? For the end of the season. But
I'm just going to throw a really weird point in. But you were just saying about V10s, V12s, and all of this. Now, we're cooking in the UK at the moment. It's we got wildfires, we got people's houses burning. A few weeks ago, after Route 66, I sadly went up to the Palisades and up by Malibu and saw the devastation there. With the way I'm not turning Greta Thunberg, I'm not being an eco worry, but I think if you look at the brand of Formula One being this around the world thing, if you went back to V10 and V12, and by the way, I think that would be brilliant, and I would like it. Do you think it damages the brand of the sport with all of everything that's going on there? And I think there's a massive push to become carbon neutral and net zero. Is it, I've always said I think bean fuels, you can do different things with fuels.
That's what
should we be heading more in that direction? Because the battery's obviously there, not as a global warming product, but do you think if we go back to proper engines, do you think it just damages F1 more commercially and things? I don't know. It's a genuine question. It's an interesting one.
I think it has to be done in a way where it is seen as being climate aware. So if you went to a V10 or V8 that was sustainable, as clean a fuel as you can manage, and you could show that there was, that then technology could make its way to road cars, then you've kind of got Formula E pushing the electronic technology forward. You've got Formula One pushing sustainable, clean fuels forward. I think that would be great. I just don't know if the fuel situation is there yet. At the moment, if they jumped across it, sustainable is different from cleaner fuels. Sustainable is still a good direction, but yeah, it'd be interesting.
It is. I think like we need to be get away from batteries. I agree. Like that's Formula E. They got their own championship doing that.
Right.
We need to be back to proper powered engines. I think the concern I've got, the reason I made that point is, and I've got no thing on this. Does it kill the brand? Are they under so much pressure now to run carbon neutral? Because they're putting a big drive in an F1. It's just an interesting one, isn't it? Like what it's like the chicken and the egg situation. What's going to come first? I'm all for cleaner fuels. And like I said, I agree with Rob. Actually, get them into road cars. Formula One leads technology in car businesses. We know that, but if the fuel isn't there yet, we can't run it.
That's
I think
true. That's true. But I would also say that you're right. You have to be smart and thoughtful in how we would do this. But a fan who would turn off F1 because it's not as carbon neutral probably isn't a huge F1 fan to start with. It's motor racing.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Like, we're not.
And let's also. Sorry, go on, Brian.
No, I was gonna say it's different. It's not like we're trying to make sustainable farming a thing, and everyone benefits from that. This is for racing. Like, we're not saying get rid of batteries in road cars. We're saying for these 22 cars, we want them to be rocket ships. And if we can do it in a way, and this, I agree with what you said, where the fuel is cleaner, burns cleaner, there's less, issues from a sustainability perspective, great. And yes, we could still have batteries as part of the car. I think some of the best supercars on the road today use battery boost for initial torque off the line, or for filling in blank spots between gears and at certain points in the rev range. You could totally use batteries to fill in things. But 50-50 feels like we went too far, and the inability of the driver and the team to deploy it the way they like for the first half has also gone, in my opinion, too far.
Yeah, and if you really look at F1 as a sport and you want to try to be carbon neutral and clean everything up, put batteries everywhere else. Make all the motorhomes battery powered. Make all the logistics that truck all this stuff around the world electric powered. Just do everything electrified and leave cars running on gasoline. That's all we were. The footprint the race cars make is next to nothing.
Right.
Can you remember? I don't know if anyone goes back this far. Is it 2008, 2009 when Honda, our team, we had that Earth Dreams car, and we had that. We basically had the F1 car with the globe on it, and it was all about protecting. Yeah. It was remarkable, and we had this our race trucks with Earth Dreams on it. I always remember Nick Fry standing out the thing, and all the TV crews asking about Earth Dreams and the message, and he's like, it's all about having a cleaner universe and sustain. And behind him, one of our generators gave up and just started billowing black smoke at the front of the.
No way.
Yeah, it's so good. All right, it's a great time, and like, oh God, Scott, put your cameras down. Yeah, it was. That was classic. Can you not remember that, Rob? Can you not remember the Earth Dreams car?
I remember the Earth Dreams car. I don't remember the billowing smoke from a generator. I didn't see
that. No. It was probably hidden. I imagine they took it down quite quickly.
Right, Brian, I think it might be time to play the music, because otherwise we're going to talk to Paul all day, and we've still got a Zandvoort race to preview and do our casino game picks.
I don't know about music, but this was from After the Keg.
All right, that's better. Can we do three closer together?
Oh my God!
This way. Which way go? Okay, go. Oh, hey now! Right, there we.
I think I'd been to the dentist and got a bit of a numb jaw. That's why I was speaking like that.
I think it was great that you were wearing some other guy's glasses. I'm assuming that was the reason.
I've still got them. They're really good. Yeah, they do my Duolingo in the mornings. They do them glasses.
There you go.
Oh my gosh! How do I segue? Duolingo. Are you learning Dutch by any chance?
Spanish.
That was the wrong answer. It doesn't help for a Zandvoort preview.
No, it does.
Try it again. Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Are you speaking to Carlos?
Yeah. No, go on. Let's do it again.
So, what you learning? You learning Dutch, Paul?
Yeah.
Yes, great, because that's great news. Because we're going to Zandvoort next week.
Oh,
Seamless.
Seamless, yes. Ooh. Located on the North Sea coastline, I'm sure we can all do a drinking game every time Sky's cameras pan over to the sea and then pan back to the track again. It's they'll do it every year. But we've got drones this year as well. We probably even have a drone fly in from the sea and swoop down to the track. 2.646 miles in length, 14 corners, 72 laps. What we got here? Yeah, we said it hasn't had a big racing history. I mean, it's been there since the 50s. It just went up until the 70s and the 80s, and then it got shut down for being really, really bad for dangerous track. They sold half of it off, apparently, to a bungalow park developer. Didn't know that. I don't know if the bungalows are still there or not. But then 1988, they kind of started redeveloping the track. They were doing German DTM racing, A1GP. Do you remember that? The A1.
Oh, quality that was, yeah.
That was
excellent.
quality. They started that up. And then it was really 2019 when they did this Jumbo Racing Dagen featuring Max Verstappen, which was a bit of a, it sounds like it was just a bit of a kind of a festival of racing at the place that everyone looked at it and went, 100,000 fans turned up for that. Maybe we should start putting the race back on again. They did. Phoenix from the Flames, 2021 it came back. But as we already covered, this will be its last outing. Let's not say forever, just for a while. Zandvoort will find its way back, right? Please.
Over under number of mentions Crofty makes about people riding bicycles to the track. I'd say 707.
Yeah. I like. Yeah, it's kind of small for F1. There are a lot of garages around the season that are too small for us. Budapest being one of them, and they literally knocked the entire pit building down in Budapest. They did it with Belgium a few years ago as well, and rebuilt it. I would say probably for Zandvoort to get it back, they kind of need to make that kind of investment into it. I would say a little bit. White Imola is kind of gone as well. I think they need to put a lot more investment into it. So yeah, never say never. But yeah, it's a shame. It's a fun little place to be. Crazy, absolutely bonkers. But yeah.
Yeah, if you want to add to that, Crofty, about the bicycles, Sat, we'll also have to be how many times they reference this being the last Zandvoort or bidding farewell. That's going to be high up there as well.
Have a drink.
And also the banked corner. They love mentioning the banked corner, regardless of how many times you've actually seen it. Last year's race was Oscar Lando Max, the front three in quali. It was Oscar flew off the grid, blocked Lando. Max managed to get past him. It looked like Max might be back, but then Lando passed him pretty easily a few laps later, and it looked like the McLaren was going to drive off into the distance. Leclerc came in and pitted, and his teammate did him a solid by crashing big style. Lewis crashed out just after Charles came out of the pits, and he got screwed over by a safety car timing. And then we had Leclerc and Kimi coming together, if you remember this one. Kimi went round the outside, tagged Charles. Charles went spinning off into the barrier. Kimi later got a 10-second penalty for it. At this point, the McLarens are just driving off into the distance, and it's whether or not Lando can catch Oscar, at which point Lando's car went, do you know what? I'm done. And we just had smoke coming out of the back of Lando's car, and he cruised up to a halt. So then we had Oscar won it easily, like by miles. He could have stopped and gone for a burger. Max continued his 100% podium record here, and Isaac grabbed his first podium in F1 and also the first one for Racing Bull since they'd rebranded from AlphaTauri. So that was a good. I look back at our notes. It wasn't like a brilliant race, but it was action-packed race. There was always something to talk about, usually involving safety cars.
Yeah, I remember it being fun. And it was, again, I do like this race. I like this track. I'm excited to see what it gives us this year. And I'm already starting to think about our casino games. I know you got to hit the repeat, folks, but I'm already starting to think because Ferrari used to look pretty good before the summer break at some of these smaller tracks and some of these, a little lower, more downforce tracks. So I'm wondering,
Well, a little something for you. You keep thinking about that while we do the repeat winners, because if Max's new overalls and new helmet can come together to deliver that extra little bit of performance that he needs on his final running at his home race, because it might not come back on the calendar while he's still a driver.
The best ice on the grid.
There we go. The best, the best ice. Max has won it 3 times, the same as Nicky Lauda and Jackie Stewart. Jim Clark has won it 4 times. So can Max win it next week and go top of the pile with the great Jim Clark? It might be a bit of an outside bet because other cars seem a little bit better than Red Bull, but this is Zandvoort, and they always seem to pull something out of the fire. And then in terms of teams, it's 8 wins for Ferrari, 6 for Lotus. Lotus still up there in second. Love it. McLaren 5, Red Bull with 3, and then like a billion constructors with 2. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to be confident enough to make it in the podium predictions this week, but something about Max. It's like the romance of the final win, the final running of Zandvoort. No one's really in. No one's joining the hype train here, are they, for the Max win?
I haven't gotten there yet. Let me look at what Vegas does midweek when I put my predictions out.
Oh, so that's what you do. Your predictions are just based on the Vegas odds.
Yes. And so let's talk about the casino games and kind of where we want to go. And Paul, you're welcome to join us as we make our predictions for the first one.
I will.
All right.
I will.
Let's do roulette first. And I'll dust off the wheel here and spin a bit. What are we looking for? Oh, boy. After about a year of never getting that high, we've had a couple now. 4th. We are looking for who will finish 4th on the grid. Who would like to go first?
I think our guest goes first on both
because we
occasions,
lock out, so we can't pick the same. So let's let Paul have the first one.
Oscar Piastri.
Ooh. Right, and it's me first out of us 2 on roulette, and I'm going to get hosed on blackjack here because I'm going to be 3rd, and all the good is going to have gone. But okay, 4th. I'm going to go Charles.
I was going to say Charles. And you already took Oscar, so I am going to say Max.
Oh, so no! Oh, not even a podium. He's going to break his 100% podium run.
Lando won the last race.
Lando
won the last race. Oscar was looking good. The Mercedes are still there. Charles and Lewis. Max. I'm going with Max 4th.
Racing gods are not going to like this storyline. Right. Blackjack pool. If you remember how this works, pick 2 cars, try and get the points to match 21, but don't go bust. Oh, look at that thought, Brian. That is a.
And I've got my team ready. Really... So if you pick one of my guys, Harris, I'm coming through this video and I'm going to beat you up.
George Russell.
Oof.
And Lewis Hamilton.
Well, that is big call there because you've got 2 possible race winners there.
I'm confident.
I like it.
Go on, you got them, Brian.
I'll take the other Ferrari. I'll take Charles. And I'm going to take Isaac.
Is that the pairing you were going to pick? Or did
it is. It was what I was going for, yeah.
Okay, so I can't go Kimi. It's just too much chance he's going to take. So no one's gone for any of the Papaya boys here. Okay, let's go Oscar and Liam. That's.
Oh dear.
You don't seem very happy with that, Rob.
I just, you 2 have both got real big chances of getting bust scoring points there, I think. So I'm going in for, if Charles gets a 2nd and Isaac really does anything, you're in trouble. He's got 2 race winners potentially there in George and Lewis, who easily go bust. So quietly confident back here, yeah, in 3rd spot.
Nice. For everybody who has made it this far, just a note, we will probably need to be a day late next week. Rob, I haven't had a chance to tell you this, but next Sunday I'm in the car for 11 hours. So I will not be, there's no recording for me right away after the race. So Paul, whenever you are so kind as to send in a dispatch from Zandvoort, take your time, because I will be driving across half the U.S. here, or a quarter of the U.S., I guess. Anyway.
Yeah, it's not a sprint weekend, is it?
Not that I'm aware of. It doesn't say it on my calendar.
I tell you what, through the magic of
the internet.
Of the Formula One official app on this here phone that he pads while he waits for it to open so that he can get to the Netherlands It is. Oh my word, it is. Yes. Sprint quali on August 21st. Sprint August 22nd.
It is a sprint weekend. And that'll make it even more interesting after the summer break.
The race August 23rd. It is a sprint weekend. Okay, whatever your terminology is going to be for the triple header this time. I thought, I'm not even going to run down some of the ones that you've used before.
No, I'd stay away from that, because the thing is when I think of them, I try and think of what I'm going to be able to get away with, and then I have to do a translate to make sure that the American audience don't get deeply offended, because some words in English Americans find really disgraceful, and to me they're everyday words. There's one which I could easily call Rob now, which means he's a really good friend. Like, all right, yeah, I won't say the word, but if I said that in America, I'd be in the world of trouble. So it's always...
Yeah, I might have used that word on my boat trip yesterday with my friends, and they all reacted as Americans would.
Yeah. So like, there's so many words that I always try and think how I've got to try and get it as close to being Dutch as I can. So I've got to.
There's a couple that you've used.
Let's move on.
I'd say there's a couple that you've used that I've had to Google, thinking, sure, that's going to be a euphemism for something. That just sounds like a random word, and then I Google it. I'm like, holy smoke!
Hey, listen, if people want to have dirty minds and think of these things in the wrong way, that's entirely their prerogative. It's
it's not. I was going to say, it's not the mouth it comes out of; it's the mind it goes into, isn't it, Paul?
Exactly that. Yeah, as you know. Yeah.
Well, Paul, thank you so much for joining us. This was an awesome chance to catch up and get your perspective, and I know all the listeners appreciate it as well. So thanks, man.
No worries.
And on that bombshell, it's time to end. Everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be back in a week's time with the recap of the Dutch Grand Prix.
And celebrating my roulette win.
And his roulette win. Yes.
And my blackjack win.
Sure, while we're handing out trophies that won't be real.